first time, also put a 1 in the chat. All right, Robert, welcome. Connie, welcome. Fida, Kevin, Marvin,
Also put a 1.
Regina, Letitia, Pamela, Renee. What is it?
That's for the girls from around the way. Yeah. All right. Yeah, we live and direct. We
Thomas. All
active,
right, that's
man.
what I like to see.
Yes, yes, sir. All right. YouTube world, what's going on out there? Welcome.
Have the link ready for the trial for anybody that's new.
Got you.
We'll let that sound off a little bit.
All right, bet.
Yeah, this one's a good one, guys. This one kind of and I wasn't even gonna get on today.
You got Esteban in the building.
Energy from it. But yeah, I'm ready when you are.
I bet. Welcome, 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 ladies and gentlemen. This is Dot Connect Wednesdays, episode 98. This is where we break down the headlines, decode the hidden agendas, and help you guys stay ahead of the curve. Tonight, we're going to be diving into one of the most pivotal financial bills to ever pass through Congress, and that's the Genius Stablecoin Act. We're going to talk about what is it, why does it matter, and most importantly, how will it impact your money, your freedom, and your future. So this isn't just about stablecoins. This is about control, innovation, and opportunity colliding on the digital battlefield. So you're about to find out the real pros and cons, what's being left out by every other social media influencer's coverage, and how smart investors are already positioning themselves to benefit from this major shift. I'm Champ Bobbitt. This is Steve Bayonne. Let's dive into it. Steve, talk to him, brother.
My guy. So Champ was working on stable coins for today. I just went on social media and I noticed all this stuff was happening. So anytime there's a the hottest topic in crypto is what everybody gravitates towards. It's just obvious. I'm not trying to avoid it. What tends to happen is people are just kind of regurgitating the same information that you're reading on whatever screenshot that they gave. Yeah, I'll be real tired of that because it doesn't really teach you anything if you don't know what the terminology is, and it's only like a minute and 30 seconds. So, and I'm noticing, guys, just because I follow somebody that's a crypto influencer doesn't mean it's a cosign, right? I'm be honest with you, 99% of these dudes I follow without naming no names, it's just so I can have some checks and balances on them. That's it. I'm not going there to learn. So I know that you guys are following my follow list. Be careful. Because what I'm not doing is I'm not slicing them up online all day. I just don't have the time or the energy. But just don't think that because I follow somebody that's a cosign, because you don't see too many guys outside of Champ, myself, Crypto Insight that ever come on this platform to talk cryptocurrency. We got this. We don't need any other co-hosts. Nothing. We don't even got another chair for that. So when I saw the headlines, I went to the obvious guys that y'all probably following because I follow them, and they're not delivering it correctly. So I said, Champ, let me just grab it. Let me just be the voice of practicality with this stablecoin situation. I'm just going to break it down. It's so easy. I'll give you guys some real world examples. I'm going to tell you exactly what the play is. And we've been saying it, but I just need this on record. I'm just here to restore order. That's it. All right, let's go. So Champ, just show the screenshot. You guys probably saw this floating around. Someone created this nice little summary image today, and this is what everybody's grabbing.
All right. Gotcha. I'll cover it.
And we'll drop it in the chat for you guys too. If you're watching it on YouTube, just rewind back, just take a screenshot of the screen. All right. Genius Act summarize. It basically makes it a little easier for you guys to define the main points for the stablecoin regulations. Okay. It's going to give you a section of the bill that it's in, all the good stuff, right? The issue and then the rule. All right, you could let go of that. You guys could have this. I'll just break it down. There's some terminology in there. And listen, financial literacy is a language, right? They just use different terminology, and the part that's confusing is no one really puts in time to really understand what the financial language is, what it's saying, and how you could apply it. That's the part, right? There's some people that just really know how to use the fiat monetary system better than others. They're not just looking at it as a consumer. They're actual producers. They know how to grow money. And then when we finish today, don't hang up too early, guys. Stay on. I'm going to break down some ways that you can position yourself during wartime. All right. I'm just giving you some data points, certain things you can do, not only financially, but just emotionally. Um, and then we'll go a little bit deeper into the conversation at another point. We'll just, it hasn't fully started yet. So I don't want to like put any more bad on what's terrible. All right. So this Genius Act, right? Champ shows you the stuff. Everybody has that particular image that we showed you in their background, and they're telling you exactly what it's telling you. Now I'm going to tell you what it's not telling you. All right. So what is the Genius Act? And listen, if you guys didn't see the champ, did you do the Genius Act in the Dot Connect for 10? I mean, a 10-minute crypto?
I did crypto and 10. Yep.
All right. So go back to Crypto in 10. That's a YouTube segment that we have where we just break down. It's not just crypto news, it's all news in 10 minutes or less. It's been one of our most popular segments. It's easy for people to digest, and Champ does a good job of just like connecting a lot of dots in a short period of time. So the Genius Act, it basically guaranteed electronic dollar act, right? It's basically a proposed U.S. legislation that outlines how stablecoins should be regulated. All right. So it basically now what they're doing is they're setting a foundation for how the digital dollar operates within and outside of the traditional banking system. We told you a long time ago, I said, guys, listen, when they regulate stablecoins, that's when we know the game starts. I've been saying this shit for a year now. So we're here. We have one more hurdle, I think, before it goes to the
Mhm.
president.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
The next hurdle is not a hurdle at all. That's a landslide. It was a landslide today.
Yep.
And then once it gets on Trump's desk, that's not even a hurdle. That's a stroke of a pen. So we're here now. It started. All right. And just look at the timing of it with everything that's happening in the climate of the world. Okay. So war does affect the financial, the monetary system in all sorts of ways. It benefits some, it destroys others. Actually, it destroys more than it benefits if you don't know how to play it. So stay tuned to the very end, please. All right. So that's what the Genius Act is. All right. Let's just go over number one. Only the FDIC insured banks or licensed non banks can issue stablecoins. Okay, this is what the rule is saying. So, what does it mean? Only financial institutions with proper licensing, like traditional banks or regulated fintech firms, can legally issue stablecoins. All right, you got to understand these words, guys. I don't want you to think that only banks could have stablecoins. I'm going to show you some examples of what it would look like for Amazon to have one, maybe PayPal, Meta, and then you'll start to understand where the market is going. Any and everybody could have a stable coin. And the reason being is if you've been following us, we talked about bit bonds, we talked about the bond market, how terrible it is. That's what kind of props up America at the end of the day. Nobody from the outside world is picking up these junk bonds anymore. So for the pivot, that's why I say crypto is going to will save the financial system, is because in order for the United States not to collapse, these treasury bonds still need to be of value to somebody. Introducing the Genius Act with the stablecoin regulation. This is how the United States is going to offset the inability to sell these bonds, even at a deep discount across the world. All right. That's another conversation. We've broken all that stuff down. All right. So just follow me. Let me give you a real world example. So Meta, let's say if Meta was to come out with a stable coin, let's call it the Meta dollar. And those of you who don't know, he actually did scrap a situation early on, right? Where Mark was working on a stable coin and he was pretty far in it. He damn near almost $500 million he had sunk into this. And all of a sudden it just disappeared. I know what happened. He got a phone call and it was like, bro, this ain't the time to set any standard right now because he has one of the largest social media platforms in the world. When you just connect from viewer standpoint. So he would have set the precedent before the rules and regulations set the precedent. So he fell back from it, right? He'll be back again. Trust
Mhm.
me, they will all. So if Meta issues, let's say this thing called a Meta dollar, Amazon could also offer Amazon Pay USD. This is going to be for like faster transactions on this platform, global seller payouts. Okay, so if you guys were on the call last night for the members only, we showed you a creator economy. And in real time, guys, anytime something is purchased from anybody that owns the content in a creator world, you would get paid instantly, right? There's no more waiting till Friday for payday or waiting for somebody to consolidate the numbers and then just give you something. Sale comes in, everything is distributed. The velocity of money is going to increase 1,000-fold, right? Watch. So Then you have Circle and PayPal. These are licensed non-banks that already issue one. Circle is USDC. Champ will come on later and drop a little something on that. And then we have PayPal, which is PayY USD. Okay, PayPal's had one for a while. A lot of people don't know. All right, they've been running this through their ecosystem. So let me give you some pros. It stops shady fly by night projects from issuing coins. That's one of the biggest issues inside of cryptocurrency is that anybody can issue something and anybody can just do something without any rules and regulations. If we had to talk about a stable coin that does what it wants, who would that be, Champ?
Say that again.
If we had to talk about a stable coin that just does what it wants to do with no
Tether.
oversight, Tether. Okay.
Tether. Yep.
And we understand that Tether is probably if is the biggest stablecoin issuer
By
in
market cap.
cryptocurrency. It's
Facts.
tied to all the major pairings, right? So if Tether collapses, what happens to cryptocurrency?
It's all going to crash.
Okay. So we don't know if they're going to crash it by eliminating Tether, or we don't know if they're just going to have the backup to Tether and then just be able to keep the lights on. I believe it's the latter of it. The Black Swan event will crash cryptocurrency. I don't think they'll do the Tether situation,
Yeah.
right? Because there's just too much money tied to Bitcoin. I think we'll just start to see the adoption of stuff before they start to come after them. And then you'll start to see them slowly losing shares. And then projects would then start to do what? Change their pairings, change their backings. Like the whole system and infrastructure is about to be switched up right now. That's what I believe is going to happen. I don't think you knock Tether off to then create a ripple effect throughout the United States economy because of this one company, right? Use them until you don't need them, kick them out, kick the table out from under them, and just make sure not too many pieces fall off the table, right? Because we
Mhm.
have institutional products around Bitcoin, ETH, XRP, you name it. It could be a big shift. And I don't know if they want to lose consumer confidence in cryptocurrency right now, especially in Bitcoin, right? For now. So the other pro is it brings trust and legitimacy to the stablecoin usage. Now people have to start to understand like what is a stablecoin. This is where education matters, guys. All right. So if you're not in the academy, please, this is what we do. We just break down what may seem complex. We break it down in easy to follow ways. And this right here, guys, I'm telling you, this is probably the most pivotal part of cryptocurrency right now because this is the foundation and the framework. And like Champ told you, this is not about the rules of engagement. This is about control. So
Mhm.
when you understand how the game is being played way before they actually deliver it, you can start to put your chips and ducks in order. So being part of a community that has their pulse on it, we're not reactive to the news. Yes, today we are because of whatever happened, but we've been discussing the stablecoin situation. We've told you about Tether years ago and what was going to happen. Now, as we see things unfold, we're better equipped to connect dots for you guys. All right, so this is where we're at right now. You need a community. Stop following these guys online that are just like, if it's in the news cycle, it's too late. All right. If it's in the news cycle, it's too late. We shot the Genius Act a while ago,
Yep.
right? So we're giving you that information. We're laying the groundwork. We're planting seeds. Now we can put it all together. Okay. So some of the cons would be smaller DeFi projects may be locked out. Now, this is where it's about to get crazy. You guys are investing in DeFi projects. I notice. Watch what's about to happen to the DeFi market. If you got your assets locked up into there, I want you to be honest when you get cooked and come back to the community and let us know what your experience was with it. Because when you look at something and you're investing in a protocol and somehow you just get a fixed return, you got to ask yourself, how am I making this return right now? Trust me, I've seen it with Terra Luna when they kicked the leg out from under it. It showed you how unstable that DeFi market is. That's not the current DeFi market that's going to take us into the future. So if you made money, I would tell you secure some of your profits right now. If you have things locked, I would try to figure out ways to get it unlocked, even if you get a penalty. And if you don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all part of it. The Champ lost 100K in XRP.
Yep.
I've been cooked and scrambled a few times, and it makes it makes you resilient. I didn't have somebody telling me, yo, be careful or do this. We didn't have any of this stuff back in the day, right? It was really just high level guys breaking down white papers, and you just didn't know if you were coming or going. So we were learning as they were creating landmines right in front of us. Like my man Kurt says, if they die, they die. That's
They
the point
die.
that we're at right now, right? If your project goes away and the money disappears, this is just what it is, guys. I'm telling you, secure your crypto as soon as possible. All right. So one of the cons, or one of the pros, I'm sorry, one of the cons would be the smaller DeFi projects probably will be locked out of existence. They can't come to this game. Okay. Another one would be regulatory burdens may favor corporations, big corporations, and banks. So this is where the problem lies. We sat here for how many years building this infrastructure? And when I say we, meaning people who took time, investment, this, that, and instantly they can tell them, well, you're not regulated. You can't play this game. They won't be able to be regulated because there's not going to be clear rules around what it takes to be regulated. They've separated it between the feds and the states. So it's a hot mess at this point. It is put there to one confuse people, and then it's put there to put the right players in place. So a lot of your favorite projects, a lot of your favorite APYs that you guys are getting right now, time's up. Time's up. That's a warning.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it twice. Have fun with it. It's cute. All right. So stable coins must be fully backed by cash or treasuries. What's the key word there, champ?
Cash or treasuries. And the or is super important.
Or what comes after the or is the most important one. So what does this mean? It means issuers must hold 100% of equivalent value in US dollars or government-backed assets, not other cryptos or volatile instruments. Understand, this ain't going to be a Bitcoin reserve. When they say other cryptos, you got to be able to read through that. They
Mhm.
can hold the Bitcoin reserve. You can't, right? That's not considered one of those things. And if you think about it, if they put a warning out on that, what's that telling you about the reserves that they may have in cryptocurrency?
It ain't there. It's shaky.
What's that? If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. What's that? And I don't
Yeah.
even know what it means fully.
Yeah. It was good for
I
the
know
good.
what the
For the good.
overarching of it.
Uh-huh.
Right. That one. Let's keep
Right.
going. All right. So USDC holds US treasuries and cash. You could actually go to their website and they'll show you the reserves. All right, in real time. Okay. Um, UST, that was Terra Luna, failed because it was not back. This regulation would prevent a collapse similar to that. Understand? So if Tether is about to collapse, I'm telling you that the entire DeFi market is going to go with it if they allow that to collapse, because that means Bitcoin's going to fall off the map, not the map fully, but it'll just go back to where what it was scheduled to do normally, and it shouldn't be at this price. So how much did Tether mint today, champ?
A billion.
Another $1 billion. Okay.
Yep.
Out of thin air.
Thin air.
Okay. Cool. So some of the pros of it having to be fully backed is it ensures dollar for dollar redemption. It increases the financial system stability. We need that, guys. The thing is on borrowed time right now. Okay. This kind of brings natural order to things. And I'm not saying that being backed by fiat and being backed by US treasuries is even greater. I honestly, I'd rather be backed by Bitcoin. They're just as bad as instruments as Bitcoin. So think about that. A dollar that's failing and you need to back it by that. And then a treasury bond that's failing, but then you need to back it by that. Make it make sense.
You can't.
We're back in this, another system of the old oppression. Um, they just gold plated the handcuffs this time. Now, for you who are in position, y'all gonna thrive for sure. You know what I'm saying? But everybody else is stuck, ball and chain. Pause. Okay, so some of the cons for this situation here is it limits innovation in algorithmic models. So right, so this is going to be once you stifle innovation in a particular way, you're basically setting the do's and don'ts of it. And I don't agree with that part. And I don't agree that everything should be wild, wild west either. But I'd rather the latter than you having to pick and choose who can innovate and who can't. All right, so innovation's out the door. Forget about it. Okay. South Korea had an issue a couple years ago. In order for Exchanges to be fully regulated, they said that you had to partner with a local bank,
Mhm.
right? That was already, um, regulated by the government. So their exchanges fell about 90%. Same thing's going to happen here with the exchange market. You're going to start to see we've already started to see the shift in being able to be on international exchanges. What information Coinbase is asking for, the KYC mafia is here, right?
Yeah.
We didn't have to deal with a lot of that stuff prior, so now everybody, this is the clamp down season. Okay, this is what's happening. So there's some good and some bad. No more wild wild west. So the innovation I was talking about is similar to like the Terra, if you guys knew about Terra, Terra Luna. So basically, no stable coin can maintain its price through just the algorithm alone, right? Without meeting the reserves. That's how Terra Luna was knocked off its access. So the innovation was great in it, but what they were putting their money into was like on borrowed time. And that was the institutions that knocked off Terra Luna. So now you have the governments setting up the institutions in control of media. What do you think is going to happen overnight when they say this person can't do business here or that person can't do business there? We already see it with Mika. There's a lot of countries that Tether can't do business in
Yep.
just in the last year. So they can do, if they can do this to Tether, they can do it to any project they want. They paying attention?
Yeah, they tapped in.
All right, cool. So some of the pros with the just that stable coin that's programmable, it protects consumers from catastrophic conditions, it forces transparency and accountability, right? Some of the cons is it prevents people experimenting, all right, with decentralized money models. I like the experimenting in realms. I like drawing outside the box a little bit. The days of that is over. There'll be a dark web for that. We could definitely participate in different things. It's a internet is huge, but it's getting smaller with AI now too. So they're going to start to regulate with artificial intelligence. So this is how they're going to be able to pinpoint things, shut things down immediately. You think we have access to agents? Think about their agents.
Different ball game.
Just different, different. All right. So stablecoin reserves must be held at the Federal Reserve or a regulated or in a regulated institution. God damn it, we bought the Federal Reserve back. Right? This whole time you thought like, yo, we coming off the old guard and there's gonna be this new system. Bro, they are back. They are back. Right? So what does it mean? The money backing stablecoins must be deposited in institutions approved and regulated by governments. So no more parking reserves in offshore accounts.
Absolutely.
Where we at with it?
Yep.
Okay. So the pros is it reduces counterparty risks, it builds trust and transparency. And then, of course, the con is going to be it limits global flexibility for multinational firms. But here's one thing you got to think it also limits our ability to move the way that we thought we could move throughout the world. So when you start to see digital ID, when you start to see real ID, when you start to see all of this stuff, it's nothing but programmable instruments that are going to be linked to the blockchain and be able to track every single thing you do at the speed of light. We can't program a new monetary system, but they can definitely program a stable coin that will hinder your ability to move. And I'll give you some of those cons too, even looking at the Meta and Facebook, all these guys, right? The same situation. You say something wrong on their platform now, we can get demonetized, we can get delisted. So imagine when they bring a currency into play. Can you trust a government to control your money for you? Can you trust a corporation, a technocrat? What are they calling these guys now? So
Yeah.
many names.
Yep.
I like the
Technocracy.
technocrat stuff.
Yeah, that's smooth.
Yeah. Can you trust them with your money to make sure that one day if you said something wrong or maybe the AI flagged you incorrectly, that your ability to move in the world won't be hindered? You know the answer to that. Don't be dumb. daily public disclosures of stablecoin reserves. So now they got to daily give this disclosure, but that's going to run automatically. I don't see anybody like not having it, tied into a system. So issuers must report their reserves daily, not just monthly or quarterly. Guys, daily. Now you have to
Hmm.
think about the sheer amount of transactions. How are they able to track something daily? The technology is here already. Your system has to be locked into another system. So when you guys are looking at AI from an innovation standpoint, I'm looking at AI and government intervention into AI, not to help us innovate. I'm looking at it as that's what's going to govern us. A system with no checks and balances. It's just like, well, shit, it's this is how it's programmed. Who programmed it? Does it take all people into account? If we're marginalized now, what do you think is going to be when they start to program this stuff? You think they're just going to let you in the game? Y'all better
Uh,
grab your kickball and figure this thing out. Do not try to play defense with guys who mastered the offensive game in the game that they created.
phew.
Don't do it. We're teaching you how to play offense at the academy. That's why we're trying to ramp up with this dollar situation. Straight up, like, yo, just get in here, get this information, and find ways to protect yourself within the next 6 to 12 months. It's happening. Okay. Federal oversight of stablecoin issuers, not just state regulators. National regulations will override patchwork state by state rules. So now we have an overarching rule. And listen, if y'all don't know anything about what's happening in the government right now, it's ultimate rule at this point now. It's it's the mafia running this situation right now. And I'm
Yeah.
not here to like point fingers at anything. It's always been the mafia. But these are the guys that are taking us into the next iteration of law and order, right? It linked to a financial instrument. If you're a model citizen and you don't speak out, you'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have an opinion on something, no problem. You go to work, you pay your full amount of taxes. You're the perfect candidate to thrive in that environment. You're still going to be on programmable money at the end of the day, but at least you play by their rules, right? If you shake the tree a little bit, I could tell you that it could probably bite you instantly, and I'm okay with getting bit because I stand on principles. I'm not telling y'all what to do or not do. So if you're a model, whatever, just stay that way. Like don't shake the tree if you're not used to doing it. But if you know how to move correctly, then you kind of just put your ducks in order the same way they do. We're showing you how to get ID in other countries. There's a reason for that, guys. It's not about copy trading and trying to the ability to whatever. There's more reasons behind it. I'm not going to state the reasons on this call, but I'll save it for the members only call.
Hmm.
Okay. We're positioning you so you could have options in the world. Okay. Some of the cons to not just the state regulators. States like Wyoming and New York may lose regulatory independence. Federal agencies could be slow moving and overly restrictive. So y'all seen all that craziness where you're just like, oh, this state, no income, state income tax. Y'all not reading through that. Don't pick up and start moving to these states. This is why we're showing you guys how to, how to properly set yourself up as a business in America, right? Because it wouldn't matter what state you in. If you set up as a business, it don't matter what state you in. That state income tax, that's all for all you guys that got jobs. But that doesn't mean your job's going to allow you to work remotely.
Hmm.
And if your job is in New York and you live in Wyoming, like all right, you have no state tax there, but you still got to pay the piper wherever you go. Just be smart, guys. It's never what it seems. You understand? It's never what it seems, especially on the state side. So now you got ultimate rule on the federal level with this Genius Act. Genius. They just called it what it was.
Word.
It's just dumb. All right. So the Treasury Department power to ban illicit stablecoins. The power, the Treasury Department now is going to have the power to ban something. These dudes don't even know left from right. So who's calling the shots? The U.S. Treasury can stop the use of any stablecoin deemed unsafe or unlawful. Okay. Protects against terrorist financing and criminal use. That's a pro. So they're going to, in essence, block the United States government, or are we exempt from that?
Oh.
Oh, just checking. Um, Aligns crypto with anti-money laundering goals. Here this thing goes again. Is this for everybody or just somebody? I, I'm asking for a friend. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's the cons? It raises civil liberty concerns. Think about this. Y'all can read between the lines. And then it could be abused to shut down competition. Okay, so you're going to shut somebody down that's operating, and then you're going to say they were there, they were shutting other people, but they don't have the ability to shut other people down. All right, so that's a little weird to me.
Hmm.
So they're here to basically tell you who can do business and who can't do business in this realm. All right. So now let's get back to the real world use cases for stable coins for non banks. This is what the most important part is because I've seen people out there like online breaking this down and just like, oh my God, what's going to happen when Meta has your money and they're going to block you? And I'm like, you don't need to put your money in these ecosystems. It reminds me of going through the airport and everybody just taking a photo. You just handed the guy your ID. His job is to look at you and look at that picture and deem it whatever. Why do you need biometrics? Right? This is what it reminds me of right now. You don't need to go into a Amazon ecosystem for stablecoins. You don't need to go into pay. You don't need to go into any of them. But what they're going to do is they're going to do what? They always incentivize you first.
Yep.
It's always in. If you don't incentivize somebody from the gate, then they don't come back to the party. You understand? So it's going to seem convenient, but convenience is we know what comes with convenience. It's a lot of lack of information, lack of knowledge, lack of time. So this is why it feels convenient. Oh, it's saving me time, but then you don't understand the downside to it. So here's a couple things to think about, guys. And I'm not saying that this is going to happen. I'm just telling you that this video is going to age well soon. All right. So Meta, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, they cooking. So tip creators directly into stablecoins. We're already showing you the power of this on Formless. We are monetizing our content or any content that we want to shoot, and then we're allowing people to come in and monetize with us. So we beat them to the punch already, right? We knew what crypto was set up for. It is for people to gain back their independence over their content, for people to be able to get monetized correctly without these technocrats in our pockets. All right. Launch global commerce tools powered by Metadollar. All right. So these guys are going to come with a basket of stuff, guys. It's going to seem great, but I'm just telling you, just pay attention. Okay. Amazon. Amazon's going to launch their own coin to reward purchases. Can't give that up, right? The amount of money we spend on Amazon. Why wouldn't we get a cashback reward in a form of a stable coin? Everybody is going to be looking for stable coin dominance right now. The banks won't be able to keep up with it, but where the regulations could help save the banks is a lot of that money has to run through what? The banking system.
Inconsistent. Yep.
Yeah, they covered their tail. That's one that these guys can't give you online. And there's obvious reasons why they can't give you this because that's not what's in the bill. It's the Genius Act, guys. When you start to put your thinking hat on, you get with the real geniuses that give you the real story, not the dumb stuff. Um, Amazon could also what? Pay freelancers globally with instant free payments. You see where we're going, champ?
Absolutely.
Instant payments, distributed ledger technology. A lot of things starting to make sense right now. What protocol you think these guys are going to put it on? They got to put it on an already existing blockchain that's been tested already, right?
Absolutely.
Does Amazon have a blockchain that we know about?
Nope.
Does Google have one?
Nope.
Meta have one?
Nope.
Ah, do you know any good ones?
Absolutely.
Okay,
One comes to mind, all three are partnered with.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
So some of the pros of non-bank stablecoins, okay? Fast innovation, wide user base, frictionless integration. So think about it. If they could innovate, why can't somebody else? Why can't anybody innovate? Those guys hold the power to many users, right? What's holding back America, especially this country, with in respect to cryptocurrency, has been the lack of education. That's why I tell you, there's no other group as valuable as groups that are teaching financial literacy in cryptocurrency. And I'm not just putting us as like the only group, right? I'm just saying anybody that's like teaching you innovation right now and tying it together, good, bad, or indifferent, they're on the right track, right? You have to discern who you want to kind of follow into the future. But I can tell you that it's not the people I follow online. Please, guys, stop doing that. Trust me when I tell you, 99% of them are like Basuda. I'm not even with it. I'm just there to like peek in a little bit sometimes. I'm like a troll who doesn't comment. All right. I just want to make sure, I want to see what they're giving you guys too. If I see something and it's a little bit dangerous, I'll address it to my community. All right, and then some of the cons of this is what increased surveillance risks, platform lockout or lock in, I'm sorry, and then data exploitation. But shit, they already doing it. Why wouldn't they do it with the money if they're already doing it with the data? So now you're going to put your life savings inside of a stable coin that's ran by a technocrat. Or the other option is you're going to put your life savings inside of a stable coin that's ran by a government. Which banana you want in your tailpipe? I'm asking for a friend. So what's the bigger picture? Crypto, guys, is not here to replace money. It's the biggest misconception. Okay. Crypto is here to replace the failing banking system. The faster you understand that, it has nothing to do with currency, guys. They just put that word in there like, it's what confuses the most people. They're tech companies. They're just here to restructure the banking system and balance this craziness that they've. I don't know how long they got away with this meme coin. The fiat is a meme coin.
For sure.
It's the first original. It's the number one meme coin that's taken the rug the most people. All right. That's why I don't give the meme coin thing too much attention because I'm like, bro, we live in a meme coin world every day. All right. You wake up, you don't know what the value of that dollar is today. I went to the gas station. I'm like, Jesus, this is where we at. All right. So stable coins are like Trojan horses, guys. They keep the dollar from the ditch. That's what's happening. All right. They and the ditch is what? The middlemen, the banks, remittance services. Some of these guys are about to get smoked.
Mm-hmm.
Some of your local banks, they're not going to be able to keep up with this situation. So we're going to get down to probably big five banks in America. Easier to control, not too many options, super centralized system in a decentralized world. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. And if we're teaching you how to become your own bank, how valuable is that today's time, champ?
Priceless.
Okay.
Literally.
So let me get into some final thoughts here. Here's some pros, and this is what I like about it. Borderless payments with no banking fees. I'm all for it. Access to digital dollar for people in inflation-ridden economies. Listen, get the money flowing in places where it never flows. Okay. Users don't need banks. You literally don't need a bank anymore, guys.
Mm-mm.
Okay. And then here's some cons. Over centralization. If dominated by big tech or government, or both bananas are going to be in a tailpipe at the same time. They're in bed together. Risks of surveillance coins and privacy erosion. You see that WorldCoin situation? Why we don't even give it too much energy because it's Sam Altman. Like we knew this years ago, and it was one of those coins that I knew would be successful, and I own $0 in WorldCoin. And if you have an investment in it, I'm not telling you it's not a solid investment. I'm just telling you that I'm not here to invest. It's always going to be a demise, but that one is like, that's so obvious to see. This kid doesn't know left from right, man. He irks me. And just read through the lines. It's not that he's not smart. It's just that he's really the next Bill Gates. We have the risk of surveillance, and then we have a regulatory bottleneck that could hurt innovation. Back to that word innovation again. Why are they trying to stifle innovation through laws and rules and regulations? that could be governed by the federal government that's doing whatever they want to enrich themselves. Donald Trump is making $1 billion a day in office right now for him and his family. Not even his friends, just him and his family. Just let that sink in a little bit.
Mm, 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 mm.
So stablecoins are the infrastructure for the future of money on and off blockchain. Laws like the Genius Act will decide who controls that infrastructure. Guys, the only thing you can do is learn now or be locked out later. I've been extending olive branches to y'all, but if things just don't work out, they just don't work out. The clock starts now. When that law is passed, the clock starts. Okay, your ability to think that you're going to be able to buy any one of these cryptocurrencies that we talk about, watch it get hindered through these
Mhm.
laws and regulations. Watch your ability to purchase some assets that you would think, okay, I can just go here and purchase. Watch what happens. Let me know if you have to be accredited at some point to get some of these assets. So if you got some in your wallet and you're lucky, congratulations. If you don't have any, I'm not telling you to FOMO in. I'm just telling you that you need to figure out life and quick,
Yeah.
right? We have all the tools that you need to survive. And guys, this is the number one thing I don't want you guys to do. Stop buying stable coins thinking they're going to go up in price. It's not how it works. It's just, it's a wonder. It's like, it'll never be more than $1. It's like Bitcoin. It should only be $1. Bitcoin
Facts.
shouldn't be 100,000. But no, stable coins aren't going to go up in value. So we get a lot of students who just like they think, oh, it's RUSD, let me buy some. And it's like, no, you're going to be at like 99 to 101.
Hmm.
Like that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. I know that if I had to throw it out there because it happens.
Facts. It's
You
true.
know, Champ has a couple points in things that you can invest in. We kind of told you that before. Champ, you want to hit them with some news about Circle?
Yeah, for sure. Um, so I guess let's just do what we do best. Let's connect some dots. So, we already broke down the passing of the Genius Act. That was when it was introduced, and then it went to Congress, right? So now it passed. Now the next step is going to the House. I mean, it went to Senate, passed, now it's going to the House. Now, that news in itself was enough to push Circle by itself up 45 plus percent, literally in reaction to the news. This is why we tell you having the information is incredible, but also having people around you to put you on the things before it happens is a gem. So when I look back at the data, right, I look back at when we actually gave you guys the Stablecoin Genius Act, right, the breakdown of crypto and 10. It was published on March 28th. It is June 18th. So if we're talking about stablecoins, common sense, what are we going to kind of lead you guys towards? It's going to be the top stablecoins, the big players in that space, the top three. So for months in advance, we gave you RLUSD. We told you what it was for. We told you that Circle was going to IPO, right? We told you that a company that's a behemoth in the crypto space that was thinking about actually purchasing them, right? RLUSD was the coin. The company was Ripple. All right. Now, when you think about this, Circle was the issuer for the second largest stablecoin. That's USDC. Now, Circle, when it went public, common sense, this will tell you, okay, I see what the play is. These guys are about to go public. The rest of the world is now about to be introduced and have exposure to this company. If this company is the issuer of the number two largest stablecoin, where would you be able to see opportunity? Where would you invest your capital if you possibly could? Into the company that just went public for this stablecoin. It happened today.
Is that timing by coincidence?
Absolutely no coincidences. None whatsoever. That was perfect timing. That was strategic.
Hmm. So they knew something that we didn't know in advance.
Nope. Guess what? Guess what? We knew
Oh, we knew.
exactly what was going to happen. We
Correct.
called it. So these are the type of things that we just want to put you guys onto. So it's like it's deeper than just having information. Steve just genuinely broke down the overarching, the defined pieces without going too far into the nuances for the Genius Act. Ultimately, this thing is about financial infrastructure for crypto, blockchain, artificial intelligence. It is the future of where we're going. It is literally where we're heading to. They're building a yellow brick road that's made out of gold. And if you just walk down the road with everybody else, but you keep your peripherals on and you paying attention to all the fine pieces, you're always going to win. This is why we just tell you, you got to just be aware. Steve killed that. I actually appreciate you because now I see where you was going with that. I'm a super detailed person, right? And I never want to lose you guys on a dot connect. I was gonna go completely left, right? I was gonna tell you guys a whole bunch of details that happen, some nuances, and I'm still gonna I want to show you guys something, but I'll have a whole crypto in 10 just on this, and I'll connect the dots for you. So that way it'll connect this talk without overextending it and just going over anybody's head. There is that first move that just happened with Circle IPOing and doing those numbers. That was amazing. And I actually wish I could have partook in it, but we gave the gym. I just didn't partake in it. But in one day with this decision, and I told you guys in that video that it was going to pass right here around Memorial Day, right after or right after Memorial Day. It's June 18th. It passed. It's going to zoom through. So within the next 60 to 90 days, Steve gave you the forewarning. He said, listen, once it passed, train is definitely leaving the station. This is the thumbs up for everybody. It's the green light for everybody. The only thing the world is really waiting for is regulations. That's the green light. That's the thumbs up for everybody. Once we have it, it's a go. And Mika has already happened. And I'm not going into super details, but Mika regulations has already happened. One of the biggest stable coins, the largest stable coin by market cap, is Tether. It's cut out because it's not compliant. The Genius Act just showed you today. In the breakdown, it says verbatim that they can ban non-compliant stablecoins, right? Who do you think that would be? That's definitely Tether. So this show is about to be a wrap, right? So I don't need to go down that road, but I promise you guys, I'm going to give you guys a crypto in 10 that's going to connect all these dots. But there's a big player that put out a fintech note document back in 2022, and it's called Regulating the Crypto Ecosystem, the Case of Stablecoins and Arrangements. In that document, and I'm actually going to share it and show it. This document literally tells you that Tether, the world's largest stablecoin by market cap, right? It tells you that it may have exposed users to significant risk, raising consumer and user protection concerns. Lack of information about the profile and their location of the users makes it hard to conduct meaningful analysis, right? So overall, they basically the compliance comes from whoever the issuer is. They want to have transparency. They want to have control, like Steve mentioned. They want to know who's using this stuff, right? So Tether is super elusive when it comes to their reserves, where they're located, when they're minting, how they're minting, what their reserves are. They don't give attestation reports, none of the things that USDC gives. Now, today, when the Genius Act passed, you see Circle reacted. Why? Because they're transparent. You can go right on the website and see everything that is in their reserves for USDC and for Circle, the company that issues it. Right? Now, back to Tether. Remember, I just told you, Mika and this Genius Act both told you that they are going to literally cut off the spigot for that
Man, you
stable coin.
might want to go to crypto in 10, man.
I mean, I definitely will, but I'm gonna leave you with this. So this last sentence, I want to put this nugget out. So this joint says literally, the recent disclosures still lack important information about Tether's assets. The risk exposures are still high. Only 6% of Tether is backed by cash and liquidity mismatches, as Tether allows direct and immediate redemption. So basically, that means whenever they mint money, they don't have anything to back it by. They just got a bunch of bonds. Steve covered that in one of the crypto intents, right? But period, this stable coin is dangerous. And because it's connected to Bitcoin, that's a problem for everybody. So I have me personally, right? I'm telling you guys that I think Tether is going to crash and collapse, but I do know for a fact that there is an alternative, and they're already giving you and showing you the exposure to it with RLUSD, etc. So just like Steve said, there is a connection point between it all. But ultimately, when you connect dots, you have to understand the details, and you have to understand the overarching, like he just broke down. There's pros, there's cons to it, but essentially, this is laying the rules of the road for what's about to happen in the near future. If you pay attention, you're gonna be set. And I'll leave it at that.
That's a good one. All right, so guys, that trust me, go back. There's a lot of gems in that. You might have missed some things, so it'll be posted tomorrow. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
this we should monetize this one. Just drop a one in the chat if we should monetize this on Formless, and wait to drop it publicly. All right, let's put it up.
Okay.
Listen, I'm
I
not
like
holding no
that.
hands. If you know what to do, you'll get the signal. And if you don't know and you're watching us on YouTube, guys, there is a creator, um, a whole creator economy that's being built out now, where you don't, far from the days of we posted one video on a platform that allows us to revenue share with whoever wants to be part of our content. And then collectively, we work together to get the word out, and we can charge anything we want for content that we create. We made more money in that one video than we've made total in 4 months on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And we have people that are making money because of the content that we're able to basically invest with us. So we took 50% share, we gave 50 to the community, and we allowed 25 people to come in and have ownership stake in it. So when people purchase the actual content, if it's $1,000, we get 500, and then 500 is broken down between 25 people.
Yeah,
That's as simple as it gets. Far from the days of YouTube, $100 for a million streams or whatever the metrics is. It's just dumb. It's out of hand, guys. So we're not only teaching you guys about things, we are actually in implementation mode and showing better than we can teach. So, champ, well, we're kind of already live on here. His crypto and 10 breakdown, we'll let that be one of the first ones.
cool.
Yeah, because we're live on YouTube already, and it's gonna actually stay. So it's kind of let it be stepped on. We'll give you something like super exclusive.
All right.
This was light work. Now, before you leave, I just want to give you some things to think about in wartime. All right. Well, this would be another conversation for another day, but I felt the need to just give this to everybody. What you
Mm-hmm.
do with it is on you. All right. So how do I start this? All right, guys, listen. Number one is stay emotionally grounded. All right. Don't believe nothing that you're hearing or seeing. I'm telling you, then you just take the raw emotion out of it and just use as much logic as possible when it comes down to this, because you don't want to get caught up in that stuff emotionally. All right. In times of chaos, the calm thinker builds generational wealth. I hate to say it, but wartime is a time to print some money. All right. So I'm just making you guys aware of certain things. Don't make financial decisions based on media panic. That's the first thing. All right. Limit the news intake, monitor events, and don't be obsessed by what's happening out there. And then focus on what you can control: your cash flow, your mindset, and your security. All that other stuff, none of y'all could shoot straight and be involved in anything that's happening right now. And Champ is trained in this, and he could tell you how crazy things can get.
Absolutely.
All right. So that's first. All right. Let's focus on you. Okay. Diversify out of the banking system. Okay. So in wartime, what you see is you see bank freezes, collapse, restricted access during war or panic. They always want to make sure that people aren't pulling their money out of the markets. Okay. Here's what we recommend. All right. And again, guys, don't hold it. You guys kind of do what you do, but I'm telling you, 30 to 50% of savings in cold storage wallets and crypto wallets, period. All right. I don't care what assets you have in there. I'm just telling you that just have those things secure and diversify into crypto. So now they're telling the institutional guys slowly but surely it went from never invest in cryptocurrencies, a scam, to 5% to 10% to 15% allocations now. Y'all see where this is going? Now they ready to join the party. Y'all done left it, or your ability to trust it was hindered because you were obsessed with that legacy media telling you Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. Keep putting your money in Bitcoin. Watch what happens. So you're going to diversify out of the bank. Use trusted wallets. So we're talking about the Ledger, some safe pals. Again, guys, do your own research. We have courses in the academy that gives you full breakdowns of the wallets, the costs, the pros and cons, and all the good things. All right. We also have security protocol that's going to help you have higher levels of security. Guys, if you think that these assets are going to be valued at whatever price they're going to be at, what do you think the scammers are going to do in those times? So if we give you security protocols and then we take it a step further and we charge you for a course on security that's it's like beyond what we ever do, it's because there's something inside of that course that can keep you alive. Because trust me, today's price is not going to be tomorrow's price. And it'll hurt way more than the L's we took at 5 cents. You can kind of recover a little bit to see $2, but even that's hard to swallow.
Mm-hmm.
Pause.
Pause.
Yeah. Learn self-custody. If you don't hold it, you already know. You don't own it. Not your keys, not your cheese. Basics. Invest in real assets. War devalues paper money, but real assets retain and grow in value. What do we mean by that? Champ, how many gold courses do we have on the academy right now for them?
We got two bangers ready.
One is how to buy gold, all commodities wholesale at wholesale cost. It's a membership. It's like the Costco of buying gold. And then the second is going to be Glint Pay. That's a digital gold product. Supposedly, they say it's in Switzerland. It's back with MasterCard, and supposedly it's supposed to be FDIC insured, but we kind of know what that means. Anyway, guys, this is an easy way to not have to hold gold, right?
Yep.
You kind of pay a vault fee, super easy to get. I offset a lot of things with my Glint Pay because I'm up. We've been telling you about gold since $1,100 a couple years ago.
Absolutely.
But we were shadow banned, so the message couldn't get far. And listen, shadow banning wasn't meaning that the message wouldn't get to you because of Meta. The message wouldn't get to you because you didn't care. That's what shadow ban means. Y'all tripping. Bet y'all kept up with everything else online. Think about that. Invest in real assets. So gold, silver, use platforms like Glint Play. If you want to drop the link to them, you can. And the referral code's on you. But if not, it's in the academy, guys. $1 you could join for the month. Like, let's be honest. Nothing costs $1 anymore. Precious metal storage, consider international vaults outside of your home country. This is what we talk about with Glint Pay. The next thing is move into productive, resistant investments. Think like the elites. The elites. What are these people doing right now? Energy, food, defense, tech, AI, crypto sectors. AI is playing a major role in defense now. I don't even have to tell you which stocks are heating up right now that are going to go parabolic in a minute once this World War III is set off into motion. If it gets set off into motion. Uranium, oil, solar, and nuclear infrastructure, food, agricultural stocks, seed companies, and farm co-ops. Huge. Defense and tech, right? These thrive in wartime. I'm going to drop them right here. I'm going to drop two inside of the chat. I'm not even going to say them out loud. Next time you get on here live. You can drop it on YouTube, champ, after this.
Yep.
Yeah. If you're on YouTube, you can see it. If you're on here, it's right there. Those are two stocks right now that have never been calculated into the equation until now. Crypto sectors, DePIN, stablecoin protocols, a couple layer ones, couple layer twos, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Yeah, I know which ones those are. Shake your head. Okay. Consider relocation or dual residency options. Sound familiar? Wartime can restrict movement, prepare exits options early. Every place in every country in Africa is about to be on the ban list of the United States. Guys, and it doesn't mean that you can't go there. It just means that they can't come here. Right? But there's going to be a time if they can restrict one way, they can restrict another way. So if I told you that move that I'm making to South America, the importance of the move wasn't about like, oh, yeah, I got this resort, come chill. I'm taking them golden handcuffs off. They can have them. You got to take something in America. You know what I'm saying? Like there's just too much opportunity here to think that you just not going to get cooked some days. But I'm telling you, when you start to look abroad, you start to see a bigger picture and then you start to set up the chessboard. So if something was to get locked down or some instability was to be created, good luck. We don't even got that much room out there for everybody.
Fact.
And you know, I'm going to take care of mine first. It's not personal. It's just business. I'm being prepared. All right. And the crazy part is I offered opportunity to everybody in here. So nobody could say, damn, he left us. No. Everybody had the opportunity to learn from this.
Yeah.
And even if you don't have the opportunity to come in from a financial standpoint, at least pull up a chair to see how it's done. All right. And I'm telling you, diversify, consider relocation. All right. Scout international properties in neutral countries, Colombia, Portugal, UAE, places that don't really have nuclear warheads. You know what I'm saying? Like there's some places historically that just don't get involved in nonsense.
Yeah.
All right. Keep digital copies of documents and encrypted backups. Start backing up your documents. Take copies of your passport, your ID. Shit, take a copy of your real ID. Anybody got real ID? Let me see it. Show it on the screen. I want to see what it looks like. I'm not joking either.
Straight up.
There's no way nobody on here got that real ID. It's all good, guys. I'm not here to like poke fun at it. I just really want to see it. Does it look like a regular ID?
Oh, that ain't cuz Jerry said. Jerry said I do.
What does it look like? There's chips in it, right?
Jackie.
Okay. Oh, it looks like an ID.
Yeah.
Is there an NFC chip in it? Can you tap it? Do you know if there's a tap? You know, the passports have taps now.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Shit look the same. So what's different? We'll break that down in the crypto intent too.
You just got a little star in the corner. That's it.
All right.
Now for those of you who got it, why'd you get it instead of just not using your passport?
Yeah, you know, passport card was an option.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just I'm curious. I'm only asking.
Now we'll just break that down. Let's get through wartime first.
Okay.
You could always give that back, guys. We're going to show you ways to get back into the regular system if
Yeah.
you want to. Um, yeah, so keep your digital copies of everything, guys. Cut risky exposure. So reduce assets that can be seized, frozen, or devalued. Crypto's one of them, guys. You know they can seize these things. They could seize just about anything. Um, but reduce exposure to this is wild. U.S. Treasuries, especially long-term ones. But somehow they're gonna give it to the banks, right, to stabilize everything. All right, make it make sense. Traditional savings accounts, get it out, guys. If you just you better off just spending the money at this point. Like just go have fun, get it out the savings. Highly leveraged real estate. All these guys that were taking out, remember those people online? It was like, yo, pull out 80%,
Yeah. Hmm.
85%. I'm like, wait a minute, that's a lot of leverage. And you guys said, nah, don't worry about it. I know what I'm doing. Okay, we're here now. I sold our portfolio prior to this stuff happening. You got to know how to look at these markets. People are caught up in the emotions of owning real estate. Even some of our students here, I got to get this piece of land. It's like, what are you talking about, man? Nobody wins with that. That's a bank product at the end of the day. You have to know how to properly position yourself to buy real estate correctly, not the traditional way of buying real estate. We got to move smarter, guys. Um, so build and protect community capital. Remember, I kept talking about that community bank. This is what we don't have. We don't have a collective of ways that we look out for each other. When one person's down, two people help. When two people were down, four people. You see what I'm saying? Like we wouldn't have to like really have to do things if we work together cooperatively. All right. So in crisis, your local and digital network is more valuable than money. Join like-minded networks like what? There's one called AI Visionaries Network. I like those
Hmm.
guys over there. There's another one called Skyton Academy. Them dudes is kind of cool. You know anything else?
Facts. Nah.
Nah,
Nah.
I don't know. Yeah. Drop something in the chat, guys, if there's another community that you like. And I'm being honest. Start to join skill sharing groups, medical security, growing food, self defense. It's going to be
Mhm.
important,
Yep.
right? Get online. There's a lot of communities that have free classes, and it's just listen, just get with people locally. When something happens, it's going to be the people around you that can help. Because when the internet's off, I can't do nothing for y'all.
Real talk.
Not for that moment. All right. Um, Protect your tribe, your assets, and your mental bandwidth. Don't put too much on your plate, guys. Don't put too much stock in this situation right now. They're gonna make it sound dire. I'll leave you with a tidbit at the end, and then I'm done. A couple more points. Secure your tech and identity. Cyber attacks rise during war. All right, so it's not just like bombing each other. It's like there's an infrastructure war that goes on too. So
Mhm.
it's like lights out. You hit infrastructure, right? Airports, this, that, major hubs, and then everything else is done through cyber warfare. All right. Use encrypted communication signals. Pronto mail. We got to start moving the internet. That's our next thing that we're gonna do next month. Once I stabilize myself, I told you we're gonna start moving off of Google. Is a problem. All right. Keep backups of your wallets, keys, IDs, and photos. Private keys included. We show you many ways to protect those things and to have backups. Stocks. Oh, well, all right. Essentials. You got to have some essentials, guys. All right. Avoid panic buying. Prepare quietly. Start preparing now. Don't run to the store like when the shit hits the fan or when they say the shit hits the fan. All
Mhm.
right. Food for 30 to 60 days, freeze dried and shelf stable. Right. So I have a purveyor now that flash freezes like great cuts of meat if you're still into that. But what it does is still preserves the freshness of it and it could last a year. So I've just been slowly just don't come for my neck. I do still eat some seafood and some good cuts of steak. You know, I'm trying. Um, to each his own though. And
Mhm.
then just avoid the emotional trap, right? Propaganda itself is the first rule of war. That's the number one tool that they use. Iran has been they were months away. 20 years ago, I was hearing this same talking point. And think about it. If you know for sure that North Korea has nuclear warheads, for sure that there's countries that have nuclear warheads, how come you haven't been to war with those guys yet? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Don't chase risky investments just because others are panicking. This ain't the time to think, oh, the market dropped, guys. The market could drop like a few times throughout this process. You're not going to be able to time it. Dollar cost average in. And then stick to your long term strategy. All right. While remaining just agile, guys, stay on your pivot. It's important to not be stuck in old ways during these new times. All right. And then learn how to use cold storage wallets, please. Move assets off of centralized platforms, analyze emerging digital financial infrastructure. So we are still studying the new guards. These are the guys that are coming in with the quantum resistant stuff. Like this is important, right? We're not stuck on these blockchains that could be dated. All right. You have to look at how your blockchain is innovating in those worlds. Hedera. If you know, you know.
Mhm.
If you don't know, you don't know. My name is Steve Bayon, and I just broke down stablecoins in an hour and 15 minutes to y'all, along with giving you ways to protect yourself in wartime. No thank yous needed. I greatly appreciate you guys showing up. That's it. The one thing I do want is for you to send it to at least 5 friends. That's all. We're not going to monetize on this one, but if you could just send this out to your network, if it lands on somebody, it lands on somebody. The other thing I'm asking you guys for is to let them know that it's $1 to get inside the academy right now for the first month. And if you had an old membership that was prior to, I think, 30 days, you can get back in with it again. What you're not going to do is you're not going to keep canceling and getting in with $1. Like we got the protocol, we got the parameters in place for that. But if everybody in this call can get one person in this academy at $1, we're talking about $100 right now. And then you know the impact of the information that we give. If you got one more little push in you to kind of get somebody to kind of wake up a little bit before this whole thing becomes like control alt delete, just find it in your heart to help them out. Just one more time. After that, if and it's not a person dying, it's just the system or whatever the coin is. If it dies, it dies. And I'm not talking about any one particular project or protocol. One last thing. $30 billion a day Trump's making. They broke down his meme coin the other day. We broke that down months ago. They went a little further with it. They showed the wallets. It was about 200 and something $1 million that was made off of 10 wallets that were connected to the Trump wallet. What we didn't have the IP addresses in the breakdown that we did for it. So the IP addresses were coming from offshore accounts. Okay. So in that same notion, there was hundreds of thousands of people who were at the losing end of that coin. So 10 wallets made over close to 300 trillion. That was like $285 million. And then everybody else is a big ass loser. And they only lost because of lack of information, moving on emotion. Some retail investors got lucky. But for the most part, guys, nobody puts in 10 million, $20 million on an initial buy on a coin. And you never purchase a coin that's controlled 80% by the person who released it.
Never.
I guess you missed that too in the protocol. Take us out, man.
Listen, Steve, you killed that. You damn near did my job for me. But one thing I'll leave you guys with is whether you see this information or just the overall experiences that's going on around us as a threat or as an opportunity, that really depends on how informed you are and how well positioned you are, right? So this just basically leads to why Skyton Academy exists. We're here to help you guys think ahead, move smarter, and basically build wealth in a system that wasn't designed with you guys in mind, especially for it to be beneficial to you. And again, this is a home for all things future of finance. Everyone is welcome. Everybody is going to be impacted. Definitely grab someone and tell that person to grab someone else. And everyone start the lineup, join Skyton Academy. We're here for you guys, and we're here to bring you guys that next level information, and we're going to continue to deliver. Your future was not meant to be left to chance. Let's go. Step into strategy, and we'll welcome you guys on the inside. Peace. That's Connect Wednesdays 98.
I like that. I like that.
My God, yeah, you smoked that joint.
That was smooth. Guys, listen, I'm less than a month away from like, you know what I mean, just embarking on some other things. So I just wanted to kind of bless y'all today. There's going to be a little bit of a distance in my communication. There's going to be a little bit of a distance in just how I operate and move. Don't take it personal. You know what I'm saying? I'm just really here to like grow myself. But you know that with distance comes, you know, newer responsibility. I'm getting pushed to just outside my comfort zone. That's a benefit for all of us, right? Because you know I'm a share. Unless I go on like the sabbatical, I'm just like, man, fuck humans, like everybody, and then I just, I'm just on some monk shit. There could be a small possibility of that happening, but outside of that, like, don't worry about it. Like, Champ got it. Things are still going to be worked on in the background. We're just integrating some new systems. We're giving you formless. We have Lance coming with setting up these LLCs properly, religious exemptions. We have passports on the way, how to read the documentation they're putting in front of us. We have Professor D that's going to take you into the summer with mindset. She's coming with that. She's wrapping that up. So, as I move out, you always have access to Champ, but then we have our two new contributors that kind of take up July and August as we restructure, working on our AI agents for the Academy. Of course, you guys know you guys are with me on the builders group. We have a session 2 coming up. That's gonna be it. And then we have 2 more sessions after that. So we're in implementation mode, and I just can't really do this a whole lot, right? This takes a lot of energy. The only reason for coming out tonight is because of every time there's a hot topic in cryptocurrency, it's just not being reported correctly. So um, I don't want that to be my job all the time. I want you guys to be able to kind of sift through and go deeper into the information, right? Because it doesn't start and stop with the media's vantage and narrative. It doesn't start and stop with a document that's being thrown around Twitter or whatever else. Like this,
Mhm.
you don't know who makes these documents. So unless you're gonna go through that bill and read line for line, or what you do is you go through, you take that bill, you go to, whatever AI, and then you just have it kind of summarize and pull some things from you, and then you have to go into your tool bag, which is your intuition, and kind of know when things don't make sense. So in one realm, this is supposed to be innovative, and then everything in that law stated about cutting off innovation. Welcome to a centralized world. We never left. We will never leave. But there are ecosystems that we can work in together that can sidestep a lot of that stuff. So understand every exchange, every non-bank is going to have to go through the Federal Reserve. Y'all see how the play just got set up? I'm disappointed. But I knew this anyway. But I'm highly disappointed right now. And I told you if I had one, they granted me one wish, I would just stop the whole shit. And I don't care how big my bag is or could be. It's just they're gonna control everything. And I just pray most people land correctly. That's why moving international, when you go to slower economies, people who aren't even like looking at Bitcoin right now, looking at cryptocurrency, that still have culture rooted in people and just uh good luck, man. Like I'm being real honest with y'all. Good luck with this country. Y'all know where to find me. All right, champ.
My God.
Let me get back to work. Yo, I love every single one of y'all. I'm telling you to the core. Without y'all, I don't know where I'd be right now because I'd be sitting in this shit by my goddamn self. And not taking nothing away from Champ. I'm just saying, like, before even meeting Champ, they like none of this, all of this was like an individual thing,
Hmm.
man versus world, So finally, 100 people, like, wow. And that's 3 years. And I'm super grateful. I mean, there's people with like hundreds of thousands of people, but for what it is and what we had, this was probably the hardest thing that I've ever had to push in my life. The
For sure.
hardest. And we were right here at the finish line. So that's why I tell you, when this shit shifts, I'm already setting up my next decade, right? And then I'm working on just that 100-year plan and just I'm out the way. You know what I mean? This teaching capacity one on one, this attachment that we have. I'm being honest with y'all. I'm out the way. I'm moving to a different paradigm. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a lot of the academy member and students, and we're just going to form Voltron in knowing that we have access to wealth. We have access to what we call the People's Bank. That's going to be the last segment of the movement. So we got into foundation. Part two is what we're in now. That's the infrastructure, setting up of infrastructure, and use case and testing and building. And then the last part is going to be that People's Bank movement. That's the I don't give a fuck part. That's going to be the good part. When you can have 50, 100, even give me 10 guys who we just have access to capital and we know how to move correctly and everybody can add to the pot. That's the last phase of this. I'm out. What you doing, champ?
Back to work.
Back
More
to work.
stuff to
Yeah,
cook
I
up.
got I got one more hour.
Yeah.
Guys, yeah, whatever. Just do the right thing. Don't be dumb.
Do the right thing like Spike Lee. I like
I'm out.
that. All right, we going, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Love.